as I'm sure you know by now, I have lived and died for my Dallas Cowboys since I was 10 years of age. But I was rooting like crazy against them today. I was very happy when they got blown out by the LA Chargers at home today, because I didn't want any bogus momentum created. We won the last 3 games. I didn't want any phony rah-rah going into the offseason that would just fuel the delusion suffered by this owner and this head coach and this football team and Cowboy Nation. Just fraudulent delusion. Seriously, they're a bad football team. What are they? I've lost track. 6-8-1, as Parcells always said you are, what your records say it says you are. I was so happy they lost today because I saw Rex Ryan on ESPN just before the game started predicting that Eberflus would save his job over the last 3 games because Justin Herbert, they can't protect him. So he said, well, watch what happens. They'll hold the Chargers to 250 yards, then they'll go hold, I don't know, is it going to be, I don't even know who's going to play quarterback now that Mariota's hurt, if he can play or not. But if they hold Washington 250 yards, and then they go hold Jackson Dart to 250 when he averages 137 yards passing per game. So Rex is predicting that Eberflus wrongly would save his job over these last 3 games. And rightly, even though Eberflus was kicked upstairs, he went upstairs to the box to call defenses from on high. Guess what happened? Justin Herbert happened. He went 23 of 29 for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. Think about this. A Chargers team that came in ranked 19th in points scored, averaging 22.5, scored 34 against my defense with 24 first downs, 7 of 11 on third down, 452 total yards, not 250, 452. I predicted before the game because Quinnen Williams was out. And I said, the Omari and Hampton and company, they'll just run for 200. They'll run us out of the building. They had 152. I guess that was actually pretty good, but the time of possession was predictably 34 minutes for the visitors to 26 for us. Justin Herbert was sacked 0 times. We have no rush. It's not a Micah situation because we had no rush with Micah last year or any of those 4 playoff games that Micah played in. We had no rush. He had 1 sack in 4 playoff games. Stop it with that. Dak had his moments. Threw for 244, 2-0. Javonte went nowhere slowly, 9 for 34. We only had 91 total rushing. But in the end, you knew this was coming. There was one big marquee bright spot for the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm sure Jerry, as I speak, is raving about George Pickens, number 3, on fire again today. Caught 7 big ones for 130 yards. Looked like the best deep ball receiver in pro football, which he is when he's right, but he's not always right. And, of course, I immediately tweeted, where was this George Pickens at Detroit? And for that matter, where was he against the Minnesota Vikings at home? I can't even make my mind wrap around what happened against the Vikings. George Pickens was a no-show at Detroit and disappeared against the Vikings. I don't know why. Don't ask me to analyze the psyche of a receiver who fell to the second round before Pittsburgh took him, because there were issues at Tennessee with his psyche, with his commitment, with his behavior. Nothing bad, no police blotter, no issues, to my knowledge, no substance abuse issues. I've never heard of any. Just kind of a weird kid who finally alienated Mike Tomlin. Finally, Mike Tomlin said no to him. Got to grow up, won't grow up. more trouble than worth. Mike Tomlin gave him away to Jerry Jones for a third-round pick. Obviously, Tomlin and company and the front office probably went to the ownership on that one. Third round. I thought it was the all-time steal. I said he's going to change life in Dallas, and he did for much of the season. When he's right, he is the rightest. And when he is wrong, he's just a disaster because your expectations are so high for him that it kills the body language of the whole team. Everybody's looking around like, where's Pick? Where's Pick? What's wrong with Pick? I don't care. I've gone back and forth with Aqib Talib about this. He's the only one I know who's defending. He said Steve Smith defends George Pickens. I don't know. All I know is I heard Randy Moss say, George Pickens, you're better than that. The slant early in the second half, it hit him right there. You just have to snatch the ball, fight for it. Your body language has to say, this ball is mine. He pops it up in the air. DB gets his hand on it, intercepted, put us in a hole. There was a deep ball at Detroit. I don't know. He lose it in the lights. It fell about a yard away from him, and it looked like he never even made an attempt at it. There was an out route pass. It just looked like he didn't care. Richard Sherman went after him, obviously. Said he just looked uninterested and disengaged. Well, he did. Lots of reports in the Dallas Morning News. He misses meetings. Or he's late to meetings. Missed the team bus to the game in Vegas on Monday night. Fine for that. Disciplined with missing the first series. Maybe he missed some other plays. Small slap on wrist. But right on schedule in his contract drive year, after he basically quit on us or didn't show up for us for the 2 games of the year. You win those 2, you at least stay alive. You put pressure on Philadelphia that was no longer there. Philadelphia was in some trouble yesterday, mid-third quarter, till Mariota got hurt. But there's no pressure. There's no push. There's no Cowboys looking over shoulder pads because we didn't show up in Detroit, starting with George Pickens, and then we definitely didn't show up at home against J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings. I still can't get over that. J.J. McCarthy looked like a star against us. We turned him into a star at the star, so to speak. And George Pickens, right on schedule today, didn't surprise me a bit. Oh yeah, I got to get that contract. I got to become the highest paid receiver in football. And he goes off 7 for 130 as we lose 34-17. He will go off again at Washington. He will go even more off at Giants. He'll have big 150. He might even have a 200-yard game in the next 2 because he will come to play when it doesn't matter, meaningless games. He will be doing what I said I didn't want the team to do because I need the team, obviously, to improve its draft stock, its draft position. But George Pickens is going to create bogus momentum into a negotiation. He's going to create phony Jerry rah-rah going into negotiations. He's going to fuel Jerry's delusion going into negotiations. And he will become the highest paid. And look, I've resigned myself. It's just classic Cowboys, classic Jerry. We are stuck. There's no way out of this. You could tag him, and maybe they'll think about tagging him. That would be the smart play, except for the psyche that you're dealing with. Put the tag on him. Is he going to pout his way out of Dallas after a year? Is he just not going to show up next year? I give up. I do. I don't see a way out of this one. He's extremely talented. He's young. Give him 3 years, highest paid receiver in football, and you'll just have to live with it. Now, if he just quits completely, you're dead in the water. But what you're going to have to live with going forward is I will guarantee this. I will book this. If you give him his money, there'll be 3 or 4 games next year. Hopefully it's just 2 or 3 or 1 or 2. But probably 3 or 4 where you'll say, well, what are you doing, man? Where are you today? I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it. Something's off. Something's a little wrong. Maybe he didn't get thrown too early enough in a game and he sulks, spouts, disappears, doesn't care. As Richard said, he'll look uninterested and disengaged. When you least expect it in biggest games, big, huge turning point game at Detroit, Minnesota at home, no pick. Pick your bones with him. You could just count on it. He's going to be late to meetings. He's going to miss some meetings. He'll probably be late to a lot of practice. He'll miss a team bus. He'll miss this. He'll miss that because that's just who he is. He has shown you that's who he was at Pittsburgh. He has shown you in his first year in Dallas that's who he is. Will he make us better? Will he make CD better? In a lot of games, he will. I just don't know how far you can go with this, but you're stuck. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. I say be damned if you do. I say go ahead and give him his money because he's that good. There's no doubt about he's that good. He showed you that again and again, but you're going to have to live with the wrong. And there's going to be quite a bit of wrong, maybe enough wrong to undercut your football team. Because if he's late, other players are going to say, well, why can't I be 15 minutes late? I got crap at home. My wife's sick. My daughter's sick. I just didn't make it. Pickens doesn't make it. Why should I make it? That's what happens. And it just starts to eat away at the unity of your football team. Football is the ultimate unity game. It's different than the other games. If one player goes south, then it starts to destroy the nucleus of the team, the trust, the internal trust. The best teams are the teams that are completely unified and together, and people show up on time. As crazy off the field as Jimmy Johnson's teams were, Barry Switzer's teams were in the 90s, I was there. When it was time to be on time, they showed up on time. When it was time to play, they played. I guess you're stuck. You're going to have to live with this. The only way to undercut it is to fire Eberflus. I just wish Jerry, just to make a statement, I wish tomorrow he would fire him. Kick him permanently upstairs and then out the door. It's just horrendous what's happened with him. Trevon Diggs came back, he hates him. He's been rabble-rousing against him. Trevon got beat by McConkey on that play. I don't know if it was zone. Looked like it might have been zone, but his heart is not in zone. He's been basically doghoused for the last couple of weeks just because he wouldn't practice hard. He just doesn't like the coordinator. And I don't blame him for this. I blame him for his behavior, but not for hating the coordinator. The guy's a joke. You can look at Chicago now. Look what it was with Eberflus. I don't know, he's fraudulent. Eber fraud, that's what I call him. He has to go, and at least you could make a statement. This would carry into the offseason. Just relieve him of his duties tomorrow. Just make a big story out of it tomorrow, because it's just been a joke. We're threatening Cincinnati. I'd have to go look at the stats right now, but we've been, they've been the worst. We've been second worst all year long. And now we're getting close to being the worst. It's just wrong. It's just bad. There's too much talent. I know Bland wasn't there today, and again, Quinnen wasn't there. But come on. It's just heartless. It's gutless. It's hard to watch. It's just disasters. Quentin Johnson just went crazy. Revel, I try so hard to like him. He's long and strong, but he's coming off complete knee reconstruction, and he doesn't look like he trusts his knee. And there's one tackle early that he didn't make on the boundary where he just kind of half-hearted, and then Quentin Johnson beat him deep in the end zone. He was there. It was a great throw, great catch. But still, trying to love what there is. And you know what, Jerry? He went into the bargain basement and he brought in all these failed high picks from other places, all failed high picks, and paid him nothing. And they gave him virtually nothing. I thought Clowney would give me something. I saw 42 flash a couple times today. But again, they had 5 hits on Justin Herbert, but they had no sacks. Won't work. Eberflus, got to go. All I know is the upshot of the season is we found George Pickens, and now we're stuck with George Pickens. Great.